Woj is back with us, and we talked on SportsCenter earlier tonight, Woj, about how Sacramento is out now of trade conversations with the Sixers and Ben Simmons. Time is running out. So the fans, I think, have this question. How do we characterize the chances that Ben Simmons is dealt before the deadline?
I think those chances have been diminished just in this week, Greeny. First, the Brooklyn Nets, who are not going to engage with anybody, including Philly, on a James Harden trade. They're not going to be involved for Ben Simmons. And Sacramento now, this is a team who had great interest in Ben Simmons, does value him as a player, and had enough tradable assets, that certainly had Philly's attention. But their asking price is too steep for Sacramento right now. Sac's looking to try to do some deals elsewhere. And I think ultimately for Philadelphia, listen, they're going to continue to court the market between now and the deadline. But one thing Daryl Morey has going for him in Philadelphia, he's got the support, not just of ownership, to go down this path and wait until they get a package back that they believe allows them to move forward as championship contenders. But he's got Joel Embiid's support. And Embiid's having now what clearly in the last weeks has become maybe the MVP favorite of a season. And I think just 2 games out of first place in the East without Ben Simmons. And I think as long as he has Embiid's support, and Embiid is on board with going past the deadline, going in the summer, and then seeing who becomes available. Teams flame out in the playoffs. Players ask for trades. Teams want to break up their groups.
Right.
And then Philadelphia perhaps has more players, to get in discussions about for Ben Simmons. That may ultimately be the route for the Sixers.
I totally understand it. And the other side of that would be you feel wasting, if that's the right way to put it, a season of Embiid's prime when he's playing this well is tough to do. Woj, outstanding as always. Thank you. And let me go back over here to the guys. And Michael Wilbon, you and I were talking before the show and pick up the thought there. Do you feel like the Sixers are overrating the value of their asset right now in Ben Simmons?
Absolutely, yes. I think the whole league has. Ben Simmons is a terrific player. And nobody who has a favorite team wouldn't want to have Ben Simmons on their team. But let's not turn him into Bill Russell, okay? I mean, it's not like Ben Simmons has led the Sixers. He's not the best player on his team, all right? Joel Embiid clearly is that. And it's not like Simmons has led his team deep into the playoffs. I mean, they get beat by Atlanta, which is an absolute upset last year, all right? When you've got a guy who's a liability with the ball in his hands in the fourth quarter of a playoff game and won't shoot a layup or attempt one over 6-foot Trae Young, yes, that guy's being overstated as good a player as he is. You mean to tell me you can't find a trade partner? I've been on this Bradley Beal kick, as these guys know. So Bradley Beal is a guy who wouldn't help Joel Embiid if he was on his team. Bradley Beal, given that his team went from 10-3 to now 9 games under 500 cents, they're going to pay $250 million for Bradley Beal in Washington? I don't know about that. You mean to tell me there's no one in the entire league that the Philadelphia 76ers can get together with on a deal to make this year relevant? I don't want to hear about next year. Right now, for the Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid, who's had his own injuries, I'm not buying any of that.
It's like real estate. Location, location, location. And at some point, Ben's value was extremely all-NBA, all-star, first NBA caliber high. But when he struggles in the playoffs and they get bounced against the Hawks during Stephen A's favorite favorite term of the process,
right,
now all of a sudden you start to look at their team different. And then when Ben struggles the way you saw he struggled, you start to look at him different. And then when he doesn't come to camp, and then when you understand he may be dealing with some challenges in getting back out there on the floor, that devalues him. But let me tell you what they got to hold out for. What happens with James Harden?
Well, that's it.
They have to hold out. In their mind, Stephen A., I know it may sound crazy to everybody today. I've been saying this all year. Until James Harden signs long term, and long as he seems to be happy, unhappy, depending on what day it is, that's the guy they possibly think they're holding out for.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.